after which we start the program proper. Can we please all be on our feet to take the national anthem? Thank you very much. We may have our seats. Once again, good morning, and we're going to welcome to the table wonderful dignitaries we have seated here with us today, and also recognize some other dignitaries we have present today with us at this great event. Joining us at the table, very quickly, join your hands and put your hands together for the representative of the Chief of Army Staff, Brigadier General J.E. Jacob. Welcome, sir. Also joining him, the representative of the Inspector General of Police, the Assistant Commissioner Ayo Omedende. I hope that's the councilor. Thank you. Also joining us at the table, our wonderful, ever handsome and good-looking, dashing President of the CSEAN Group, Mr. Remy Afo. Please come for the table. We also are expecting, we'll be expecting to have the Honorable Minister of Communications here with us as the program unrolls. Also with us here, Commodore YB Wambai. Where's Commodore? You're welcome, sir. YC Creeper, present here with us as well. Commodore ZS Mohammed is also here with us. You're welcome, Commodore. Okay, as the names keep coming, we'll keep recognizing the wonderful dignitaries we have present. Thank you. But while we're still expecting more of our dignitaries to come, and also while we're still preparing the name, we're going to take very quickly the welcome address by the President of CSEAN, Mr. Remy Afo. Please can we put our hands together for him as he comes.
Best defense is a good.
Representative of the Chief of Army Staff, Brigadier General J. Jacob, the representative of Inspector General of Police, Mr. ACI Modende, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me greatest pleasure to welcome you to this year's Cyber Secure Nigeria Conference. The 3-day-long conference, bearing a Cyber Secure Nigeria Conference, is perhaps the preeminent cybersecurity conference in Nigeria and has been consistent with topical cybersecurity deliberations for the past 3 years. Cybersecurity has evolved to become one of the preeminent challenges facing the world today. We don't need to be reminded of the growing sophistication and pervasiveness of cyber attacks. Whether it was a billion compromised Yahoo accounts or state-sponsored hackers muzzling in on national elections, this past year saw acts of unprecedented scale and temerity. We are now seeing new cyber attacks
targeting politicians and government officials. The world was hit with WannaCry ransomware attack, one of the largest ever cyber attacks in recent years. The attack wreaked havoc and shut down over 300,000 systems in more than 150 countries. The attack reinforces how dependent we have become on our data-driven network and serves as a wake-up call for governments, business, and organizations to make cybersecurity top priority. For Nigeria to bring cybersecurity to the next level, we need to implement our national cybersecurity strategy and policy. We need to prioritize our efforts and raise cybersecurity awareness across the country. Government needs to allocate budget for building our cyber defenses. There is an urgent need to develop our cyber capabilities and readiness, both in government and industry, and ensure close collaboration between the various sectors to grow a vibrant cyber security ecosystem. We need to work together. Government, organizations, and cybersecurity professionals, nationally and internationally, to strengthen our digital security. While attackers are using new tactics and tricks, their overall strategies remain the same. Understanding them is critical to knowing how to defend against cyber attacks. This conference aims to prepare participants through workshop, plenary, and breakout sessions on how to build a resilient cyber defense. The conference is packed with rich cybersecurity topics to be delivered by distinguished speakers. I hope you will all enjoy the conference and bring up with you an unforgettable memory. Thank you.
Please, once more, can we appreciate my wonderful president, ever handsome, ever gentle, and ever smiling. Thank you all once again for being part of this wonderful occasion.
Good morning, our generals, our distinguished ladies and gentlemen, media houses present here. My name is Chile Anokuru. I must correct that. Chile Anokuru is my name. I am an on-air personality of the Armed Forces Radio. I anchor the Anti-Corruption Drive Show and some other sensitive programs of the Defense Radio. I'm really glad to be here as one of the anchors to this, I believe, a successful event. God bless us as we stick around to enjoy the very best. By the identity management, the special remarks by Inspector General of Police. That is talking about Ibrahim Idris Utom, NPM, MNI. Would like to have. Okay, I sincerely apologize for that. He's being represented by AC Ayo, or Modende. I believe I'm right with the name, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All other protocol observers. I'm here representing the occasion of the Cyber Security Conference. This conference cannot be coming at the best time when the world is faced with the current ransom malware attack that has so far affected over 150 countries, including Nigeria. We may not know because oftentimes the attack comes to individual systems, but that your system has not been affected does not mean that it's not here. But I just want us to imagine a scenario. Each and every one of us wake up this morning and you open your laptop or you go to your ATM and the next thing you see is the malware telling you to pay a ransom of $300 through Bitcoin. Or you want to use your mobile app, your mobile banking system, and that's what you are faced with. Or the scenario where children presently writing JAM get to their centers and all they see on the screen is the malware and they are not able to write the ongoing JAM. That is the seriousness of cyber attack. The global security challenges are soaring as the cyber world gets more complex with increasing interconnected devices that expose enterprise data to external world. Experts say the traditional approach to security will not keep pace with the advancement, and there is need to move beyond breach prevention and reaction. Security expert argues that there is a need to rethink the approach to security and to build a resilient cyber defense that can help resist, respond, and to recover from new threats. Now, the law enforcement agency, we have dual roles in cyber security issue. The first role is proactive. Law enforcement agency with the private sector need to undergo public enlightenment on cyber threat, prosecution of cyber offenders to discourage others, training cyber investigators and prosecutors, and coordinating with public and private organizations to improve their security and intrusion detection capacity. The second law enforcement role is reactive, which is preserving digital evidence that can be used to track and identify intruders, identifying perpetrators after cyber incident, and help to determine appropriate response. But law enforcement agencies all over the world have basic challenges. The first challenges, which is always known, is funding. There is usually a serious funding challenges confronting ICT manager. It is always easy for works manager in our various organizations to get enough funds to protect the physical assets of the organization than for an ICT manager to get funds to protect the digital assets. It's always easy. Top management are sure that if our works manager come on with bill to build fence, to put security around the fence, they can easily get the money. But if the ICT manager said, I need to get funds to upgrade my security, to buy data, oftentimes the top management don't really understand what you are saying. They think since your computer is running, then there's nothing wrong with it. So it's easier for the works to get funds than ICT managers to get funds. Number two, getting appropriate legislation to prosecute digital offenders. Now, the reason why the logbook criminal could not be punished in the Philippines was that there was no law to criminalize the action of the boy, and he could not be convicted under the traditional penal law in Philippines as at then. So collection of evidence and its admission in court of law for successful prosecution in a cybercrime case is very difficult and very technical job, which requires huge funds and expertise. And is our law, and the question is, as our law, is it adequate enough to deal with ever-increasing cybercrime? Number three, poor victim response. Oftentimes, victims of cybercrime don't want to report the incident. For example, Novak will report hacking of our system. About 93% of cybercrimes go unreported because companies don't want bad publicity or disruption of their businesses, as that could be more damaging to the company than the crime itself. And that is what they think. So because of, one, bad publicity, they felt by reporting incidents of cyber attack, and it can be damaged easily or be damaged through if it's not properly kept. The question now is, do we have enough qualified within our law enforcement circle, enough qualified law enforcement officers that can handle cyber crime? And number five, the non-cooperation of ISP and some other stakeholders. It is important that crime is reported immediately, but because time is of essence in cyber investigation. Oftentimes, when cases are reported, I give you a real-life incident. I was the head of the UN police in Liberia, in Maryland County. And one of the NGOs there reported a case of threat through an email to us. And I investigated the case, and I was able to track the IP, that was in 2005, of the mail to another NGO within the same county. But I need information from the ISP to be able to go further in my investigation. The ISP refused to cooperate. That was in 2005, and it's still happening. Each time there is an incident, and you need prompt information from the ISP, you need prompt information from the banks, they don't easily cooperate. They start moving you from one end onto the other until the criminal take advantage of the time lapse to move to either go away with the proceeds of the crime or to evade arrest. So there is need for the stakeholder to come together to know that there is need to cooperate if we must arrest the issue of cybercrime. Now lastly, let's just look at some of the steps I want to bring here to achieve cyber resilience. One, there is need for each of the organization to have what I call system hygiene. How many of us do upgrade our systems? One of the reasons why WannaCry was able to go around is that most organizations, they still use old operating systems. If you have Windows 10, you are not likely to be attacked. Most of those that are attacked are those who use old system. And I remember when I was within the UN system, as in 2002, we were still on Windows 98, and UN refused to change to Windows 2000 that was prevalent there. And in most big organizations, maybe because of the cost of getting new operating system or upgrading, most of the organizations are always reluctant buying new operating system for their organization. As a result of that, it makes the organization to be very vulnerable for easy attack. So, and this also has to do with budgeting, because oftentimes top management, budget managers don't really understand the need to provide adequate budget for ICT. So oftentimes ICT department in most organizations don't have enough funds to buy enough support software for their system. Number two, there is need to develop a plan. A lot of organizations don't have good ICT plan to support their organization, and that's why a lot of organizations allow members of staff to bring in systems into the organization without control, and this exposes the data of the organization to easy attack. So there is need to have strict plan, ICT plan in all the organization. Number three, there is a need to map out risk profile, to understand the risk profile of each section of the organization. By understanding the risk profile of each section of the organization, you will now be able to know which section need to be given an attention to, which section need to be given attention to. So by understanding the risk profile of each section of the organization, it will help the organization in determining when there is an incident, you know what to do. Number four, there is also need to have access and access measure. Need to know what assets do we have, what type of software are you running on your system. How old is your security patch? How old is your operating system? Is there any need for you to upgrade? It is when we know this that we'll be able to take action whenever there are crises. And lastly, there is need to have emergency measure when there is crisis. One, a lot of organizations don't even back up their data. So once there is crisis, oftentimes they lose their data. So there is need to have a good secondary data platform where you secure your data outside the organization, so that whenever there is risk, you can always have a follower to recover some of the data. Or else, once there is crash and you keep all your data within the same system and there is crisis, you will not be able to recover. So once there is enough backup, it will be easy for organization to recover. And lastly, the WannaCry malware, you are to pay the ransom using Bitcoin. Now this now gives some of us to ask question: are we really regulating the cryptocurrency in Nigeria now? And the answer is no. We are allowing a free flow. And there is always a connection between the cyber offenders and looking for easy way to hand fund on traceable way. But because there is presently no ongoing regulation, both at the law enforcement angle and the financial regulation angle on most of the cyber cryptocurrency, we are exposing most of our populace, because the two most popular cryptocurrency in Nigeria, I will tell you, to me, they are scams. Because when you go to cryptocurrency exchange, you won't see any of these two popular cryptocurrency on the cryptocurrency exchange, which means that they are just like normal MMM. But we allow MMM to have its way because they were not regulated. So there is need to have regulation. Don't allow incident to happen until we start running to know what to do about the incident. So with this note, I want to congratulate the organization of the organizers of this program and wish them a good deliberation. Thank you very much.
Who among us here that I know that you can just tell me straight to me now that you've not actually gained anything at the moment? Who can boldly just reason and tell me that I am not feeling anything? All right. I would like to call on the high table, Rear Admiral Chidi Okonkwo. He's representing the Chief of the Naval. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
I would also like to call on Brigadier General J.E. Jacko, who is actually representing the Chief of Army Staff, to come and give us a short note on what is going on. J.E. Jacko.
The President of CSEAN, representative of the Chief of Naval Staff, the representative of the Inspector General of Police, I am Brigadier General J.E. Jacko, our Chief of Accounts and Budget, Nigerian Army. I'm representing the Chief of Army Staff. I was asked to make some remarks, so mine is not a prepared speech, but just a remark as a participant and also as a user. I said as a user because as Chief of Accounts and Budget, we do our troops salaries and allowances on the system. Indeed, we are all with the government financial reforms, the GIFMIs, the IPs, everyone has been put on the system. So we are all affected whenever there is an issue of cyber security. And I want to say that the armed forces of Nigeria takes the issue of cyber security very seriously. And we ensure that we have protection for our platforms and also for our environment. I just want to say that I will share from a practical experience during my course in December at Harvard. It was a course on national and international security. We watched a movie, part of the training, which is titled 0 Days, which I also want to recommend to you. If you haven't watched 0 Days, please, you can watch that film and it will show you in clear terms the consequences, grave consequences of a breach in cyber security. And maybe as a coincidence, on Sunday, I actually made my wife and I to sit down and watch the film again, just to turn on the television, I think later in the night, to see that there was an attack. So it's something that we live with every day. And as we speak here, there are guys that are working on hacking into one thing or the other, while there are others that are also working into making sure that they don't succeed. And I know the speaker spoke about managers not knowing or not valuing the importance of investing in cybersecurity. But I want to say that we are beginning to appreciate that, and a lot of that is also changing. And then talking about investing in security general, it's a general feeling of the people, because security is not something we see until something goes wrong. So the tendency is not to really bother so much about it. But when something goes wrong and we see the implications, then we begin to value security. So either in our national activities or in our business activities or even family, there is a need to raise more interest in both physical security and the invisible security that we need to provide. So once again, I want to thank the organizers of this program for inviting the Nigerian Army and indeed the armed forces, because we are key players in security, whether national or cyber security. We are key players, and we appreciate you are inviting, I want to say, the Nigerian Army and of course the armed forces. And we're going to support the program by doing more participation, and we are going to be partners with you, particularly speaking for the Nigerian Army. And I know the Nigerian Army Finance Corps, we have a training school, so we are going to be partners also with the organization. So I want to thank the distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the pressmen, for giving me the opportunity to make these few remarks. Thank you very much.
We would like to recognize the presence of Akim Ajijola. Is he here? Welcome, sir. The Nigerian economy, which is supposed to be addressed by the DG CEO National Identity Management Commission, Engineer Aliyu A. Aziz. But today he will be represented by Chinenye Chizia. I hope I'm quite correct. Welcome, madam. A round of applause for her. I hope I'm very correct.
Yes, you are.
Oh, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Standing on existing protocols, I'm supposed to have a presentation for my DG. Okay. Presentation. Scheme. My DG would have liked to be here, but unfortunately we've been very busy this period and there's so many events that he has to attend to, as well as some of his top managers. I'm currently Chief Information Security Officer of the Commission, and I was asked to present on behalf of him. The first slide basically was talking about identity. What identity is to every one of us. We said it is basically attributes of entities. And for us as individuals, we have different types of attributes. They could be intrinsic, that means what you have within, like your biometrics, fingerprints, and age, date of birth, place of origin. These are okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so the outline is to talk about identity, what their national identity management scheme is, what the scheme's value proposition is for in Nigeria, national identity management ecosystem here in Nigeria, and basically what are the drives for digital identity, our challenges, and the benefits to our economy. Next slide, please. So we're here on identity, where like it's the physical or digital identity or collection of information or attributes that describe an entity. And it says it can fall into 3 categories. It could be inherent, that means what you have within things for individual like age, height, date of birth, fingerprints. It could be accumulated, that is what you've gathered over time. Things like your health records, job history, social media participation, sports preferences, or your identity could be assigned. And that is where most of the government agencies fall under, where we have either your name, your passport number, like the telcos give us a telephone number, which is an identity for you. And basically those are the 3 categories that your identity falls under. Thank you. And this is our National Identity Management Scheme. The way it works is we have citizens coming for enrollment. We gather all their information. We put it in our database. It processes using our automated biometric identification system to check if that data already exists, because you know our fingerprints are individual and unique to each and every one of us. So it processes, and once it is sure that there is no other fingerprint in the database that matches what you have supplied to our enrollment officers, a NIN is generated. The NIN is what we call a national identification number, and that is given to the citizens. From there, we're supposed to have card production and also a verification system, both of which are running as we speak, but not as fast as we would like. What I want us to note here is that we take our data seriously. It is protected. We follow several security standards. We are certified on ISO 27001-2013, so that forces us as a government agency to have policies, information security policies, to have a disaster recovery site for our information, to ensure that we have backup like the other speaker mentioned earlier. And basically, we do not want to have a situation where your information is compromised. The identity management scheme in Nigeria is within those 4 circles. We have in the payment for the financially unbanked. We have services, it could be voters, health, driver's license. We're working with different agencies to harmonize the data that we have. And then our identity, which we say is the unique identifier for most individuals. We also have transit. We're looking at a possibility sometime like it happens in the West where transport systems use, contactless cards. We see if we can harmonize all of that together. So this is where we say our value is. On the card, there's a payment applet. We want to have that payment applet in everyone's hand. For the services, we're partnering with NHIS, we're partnering with BVN, NIPS, we're partnering with other government agencies, FRSC and all of them. For e-commerce, that is something that has taken off overnight in Nigeria. It was something that used to be abstract, but now even kids in school have come up with ideas that we sell online and do things. So in all of this, what is the foundation is your identity. When we talk about theft and crime, we want to be able to know who the individual is with the identity that we have. And so here we have the ecosystem, basically the agencies we're partnering with. We've started working with most of them on harmonizing the data. And the way it's done is we get data from the functional agencies. We have to work because one of our challenges is that the way biometrics are captured is not uniform across all the agencies. So once we receive this data, we work on cleaning it and getting the information that we need, which helps us generate the NIN, also helps us give statistical data back to these agencies, We have a verification system that the banks are using now. And with that, they can also get KYC data. So our stakeholders, for us, we look at Nigerian citizens as our key stakeholders. They are end users, and our primary goal is to ensure that the information is accessible. When they come for enrollment, there's proper customer service, user friendliness, or verification. Everything should be easy for them to use. And we hold as important or sacred our data protection and privacy. For all other legal registrars in Nigeria, population, INEC, FRS, other agencies that get people's data, we know their role to be digital ID providers. They give attributes to these identities. They authenticate these people and grant whatever service they have. And what the goal is for them is that they should be effective and efficient in this service delivery. They should also ensure that there is trust and security in the transactions, fraud reduction, and universal coverage of their access. We're hoping to get there when everything is uniform. So far, it's been good. For e-government service providers, the e-commerce we talked about, their role is here, increasing transaction volumes in whatever businesses and channels we work with, increasing transaction complexities, rising expectations, because people expect more. A lot of us in Nigeria travel and they expect so much more than what is available. We want more stringent regulatory requirements, increasing speed of financial and reputational damage. All of these is being the force or the drive behind digital identity systems. And with all that, we have challenges. Most of our challenges are in those 4 categories. I don't know if you can see them very well. The existing identity landscape in Nigeria, it's been a high level of security and privacy protection. There's an exclusion from social benefits because basically we're not there yet, but we hope to get there, where the government is doing something for our less, financially capable citizens. I don't want to use the word poor, but people who can benefit from government interventions. For the undeveloped sectors, our challenges in the financial industry, agriculture, they need this identity management to identify who their citizens are so that people don't take, there were issues prior where people used to have more than one loan from different banks and default, things like that. So it's always easy or better to know who you're engaging with, cost of implementation, and ensure efficient interoperability between the agencies and transfer of citizens' information. We will eliminate duplicate multiple ghost identities. We will reduce identity theft because we can confidently say that this is the one true source of identity for an individual. It will bring financial inclusion, and it will enhance development of our consumer credit sector, governance, and national payment system. And so in conclusion, a centralized national identity management scheme would drive efficiency and transparency in governance, service delivery, security, enforce anti-money laundering compliance, reduce crime, and the success of our identity management scheme is dependent on the commitment of governments at the highest level and all stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Please, I would like us to just take this up back. Permission granted, sir. Honorable Minister of Communications, Barrister Abdul Rahim Adebayo Shitu. You're welcome, sir. We would also like to have a short brief on current trends about cyber security and cyber attacks by Alhaji Abdul Hakim Ajijola, Chairman Consultancy Support Service, CS2, I call them, while we wait for the keynote by the Honorable Minister. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize for coming a little late. I actually had an interview this morning on TV, and it took a little longer than we thought, so my apologies. I really just want to raise three quick issues, and I'm very happy that some of our colleagues from the security services and our Honorable Minister are here, because I think they are in a position also to take up some of these issues. But more importantly than them is actually how you take up the issues. So the first issue that I want to raise here, who is going to protect the digital Nigerian? And that's a serious question. Whom or who? Today we have a lot of, especially younger Nigerians, that are what we call digital natives. We know if we have younger cousins, nieces, children, relations, you give them a phone, you give them a tablet, they begin to do magic with it. And that's wonderful. But really, who is going to protect them? And the corollary to that is that in terms of protecting them, if not you and I, then whom? It's not something the security service can do alone, because a lot of issues relating to protection boil down to common sense and boil down to being able to reason and understand. So, if not you, if not I, then whom? The second issue is actually a call or a cry by me for some help, assistance, and support. I happen to be a member of, well, as I say, Global Commissioner of the Global Commission for the Stability of Cyberspace, which is based in The Hague, the Netherlands. And one of the areas that we are seriously working on is the issue of developing norms for cyber warfare. I know our colleagues from the military will be interested in this. But in developing these norms, and if I may give you the analog example, in kinetic or traditional warfare, there are things you don't do. You don't attack hospitals. You don't attack women. You don't attack children. So the question is, in cyberspace, what should be our norms? What don't you touch? What systems should you avoid? Now, we agree that people may not follow these norms, but at least if we establish them, then we know whether you are breaking the norm or not. And why I make a plea to all of you is that it is not good enough for me as an African representative on this commission to basically swallow what the Western world gives us as norms. What are our norms from our own perspective as Africans, as Nigerians? So if you have suggestions, any of you here, please get in touch with the organizers. They will pass on the information to me so that I can be your voice. For example, what are our Christian religious norms as it relates to these things? What would be our Islamic norms? Indeed, from the Ifa Oracle perspective, what would be the norms of cyberspace? We must articulate these things. We cannot continue to swallow what the West gives us. So please, I would like you to think about these things. And finally, cybersecurity is a challenge. But having a migraine is also a challenge. Can we make money from solving cybersecurity challenges? There is a financial ecosystem that surrounds aspirin, that surrounds pain medicine. Somebody develops it, somebody sells it, somebody distributes it, people pay at each stage. Cybersecurity is a pain, as we've seen in the last few days. Where there is a pain, it means there is money to be made. And if I may put some numbers here, in 2015, the Africa, just Africa, cybersecurity solutions industry sector was valued at $1 billion US. By 2015, that subsector is estimated that it will be valued at 3.6 billion. So, I will not ask the minister, I will ask all of you this. What piece of that action are you going to get? Honorable Minister, sir, I will crave your indulgence to request that governments find ways to facilitate, not to own, not even to drive, but to facilitate the growth and emergence of a cybersecurity industry where young people, primarily below 35 years of age, can be gainfully employed to provide global cybersecurity solutions, to bring honor to our country, to bring income to our country, to generate taxes for government, and to address a lot of our intellectual problems. It's not an issue simply of
for choosing this theme, which cannot be more appropriate in any discussion in light of the present global threats to cybersecurity. We gather here today in recognition of the imminent threat posed by cybercrime to every stratum of our society, our socioeconomic well-being, and our ability to remain competitive in the free market and attract the right investments from all over the world. This conference unites us in a common goal to seek answers, to educate ourselves, to enlighten everyone around us on how best to tackle the challenges posed by cybercrime. The nefarious activities of cybercriminals is growing in frequency and sophistication. We all need to step up our joint commitment and not to create room for this endemic challenge to prevail in our cyberspace. There is continuous global cybersecurity breaches resulting in significant financial losses. The economic impact can consequently not be overemphasized. A clear example of this menace is the recent attacks on NHS sites in London and about 98 other countries around the globe. Back home, we are clearly not immune to the malicious activities perpetrated by cybercriminals. Unfortunately, this is the price we have to pay for embracing technology. However, we recognize the benefits technology brings, which undoubtedly far outstrips the shortcomings. Therefore, we remain full participants in the fast-paced digital world, driving innovation, commerce, economic activity, and all of that to the road to prosperity, or on the road to prosperity. I believe this prize is too invaluable to be traded. Given the security incidents that continue unabated year in and year out, collectively we need a paradigm shift towards cyber resilience to undercut the wave of cybercrime. Businesses need to focus its resources on cyber risks that inherently cause business impact, and also on the metrics that sound alert of the risks. Private-public partnerships are needed in these dire times, and coupled with continued research, development, and awareness programs, all these components need to coalesce in order to establish a formidable cybersecurity resilience. The internet with digital technology is the biggest transformational force in the world today. There are over 5 million internet-connected devices globally, and in 2015, online commerce contributed over $10 trillion to the global economy. No doubt, numerous conferences like this have been held across the globe on how to leverage the gains of ICT to provide rapid changes in technology, social, political, and global economic transformations. Today, as always, the world is faced with the challenges of crime and security. These challenges, however, are not just physical, but also electronic. The new postmodern realities of ICT and cyberspace have extended the frontiers of living space from physical space to cyberspace. Modern society is increasingly getting dependent on and addicted to ICT and cyberspace due primarily to their capacity for life and community improvement, efficiency enhancement, cost reduction, and prompt and far-reaching access to information. As we all know, innovations in information and communications technologies are rapidly altering the landscape of global economies. From business, industry, government, to not-for-profit organizations, cyberspace has simplified business processes in real-time processing mode. Since year 2000, the African continent has experienced a prolonged commodity boom and a sustained growth trend. Highly regarded international organizations, such as the African Development Bank, have asserted that Africa is home to some of the world's most rapidly growing economies. At least we can assert this or confirm this from our own economy here in Nigeria. This is reflected in the continent's expanding middle class and rapid adoption of mobile technology. The dependence and addiction ensure that more and more valuable resources are daily being relocated to and operated from cyberspace. Today, cyberspace is the world's prime hub of information storage, infrastructure control, smart economic management, recreational resources, social networking, and the prosecution of deadly warfare. This wealth of resources dwelling in cyberspace is the force that is unwittingly driving the daily expansion of the phenomenon of cybercrimes. This, in turn, is a driving force for cybersecurity. The challenge for us is this: to build a resilient cyber defense is a priority, as available statistics put the cost of cybercrime globally at over $700 billion per year, and it is projected to rise to about $2 trillion by year 2019 due to the rapid digitization of consumer lives and company records. Breaches like this have steadily been on the rise, as according to reports, number of incidents in 2016 grew by 38% as against the number reported in 2015. So only God knows what the statistics will be in 2017. Indeed, Nigeria already loses over 127 billion naira annually, which translates to about 0.08% of our gross domestic product. The financial implication could be much more, but a large number of incidents remain undetected and unreported. These green figures go on to emphasize the fact that cyber criminals never sleep. Nigeria, as a country, has made vital steps towards securing its cyberspace with the passing of the Cybercrimes Prohibition Prevention Act 2015, which was passed into law by the National Assembly, and the inauguration of the Advisory Council on Cybersecurity. The establishment and operation of Emergency Response Teams, CERTS, is a sign of the efforts currently in place in Nigeria. Hopefully, sets will come online in the nearest future. I want to urge at this juncture to urge you all to do something about the cybersecurity talent shortage, which Mr. Hakim mentioned. It's a refrain I have been hearing for the past 12 months from stakeholders. We need more skilled people in the cyberspace ecosystem. There are no signs that the bad guys are limiting their talent pool, and cybercrime is now a $445 billion global business. Cyber criminals are becoming increasingly more organized and aggressive, while the teams defending against these attacks are only struggling to fill their ranks. I am happy to report that the Office of the National Security Advisor in Nigeria and our ministry are partnering to improve contribution of ICT to national development by implementing the Cybercrime Act 2015 and the cybersecurity strategy to curtail the menace of increasing number of threats targeting government institutions, critical infrastructure, banks, other businesses, and the ordinary citizen. Our ministry has no intention whatsoever to usurp the statutory roles of the Office of the National Security Advisor. We will rather work in synergy with it and other relevant stakeholders to fight cybercrime and facilitate the safety of our cyberspace. It will be recalled that a massive cyber attack using tools believed to have been stolen from the U.S. National Security Agency struck organizations across the world only last week. Cybersecurity firms like ours said it has seen 75,000 cases of the ransomware known as WannaCry and variants of that name around the world. You can even imagine the name given to that crime, WannaCry. They are counting their victims. There are reports of infections in 99 countries, including the biggest countries of Russia and China. Among the worst hits was the National Health Service in England and in Scotland. Gladly, our ministry's agency, the NITDA, said though attack was not reported anywhere in Nigeria, the agency had put some measures in place to prevent it from spreading to our country. Furthermore, the agency said should any system be infected by the ransomware, it should be isolated from other networks to prevent the threat from further spreading. And I want to give an assurance that NITDA is sufficiently equipped intellectually, professionally, and otherwise to assist like it assisted JAM when it had problems very recently. In addition, the following action could be taken immediately. Removing the system from network. We should not use the flash or pen drive or external drives on the system to copy files to other systems. Otherwise, there will be transfer and infection. We should format the system completely and contact NITDA's computer emergency readiness and response team for assistance. I will ensure that they give out telephone numbers that they could, be contacted on. Ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to a fruitful engagement and urge you all to take an interest in the discussions at this conference so as to arrive at strategies that will build a better and safer cyberspace for all of us. I am optimistic that effective strategies to curb the menace of cybercrime will evolve from this very important conference. Such strategies should include cyber resilience by preparing for known, predictable, unknown, and unpredictable risks. On my part, I want to assure you that I'm prepared to fully collaborate with you to fight this cancerous growth in our cyberspace. You should therefore feel free to submit to me any doable blueprint for my dispassionate consideration and immediate implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, the threat from terrorism and violent non-state actors in Nigeria and across the globe has over the years presented a clear challenge to the cyberspace. In order therefore to effectively respond to these threats, I implore you to collaborate with our ministry and all of its agencies, among others, to build capacity in addressing the issues of cybersecurity in Nigeria. Let me also reiterate the words of Newton Lee, an author and administrator in the field of education and technology commercialization. He said, and I quote, "As the world is increasingly interconnected, everyone shares the responsibility of securing cyberspace. Because whether you like it or not, we are interconnected, and what concerns one concerns all. It is therefore clear that with greater cooperation by all stakeholders, including the academia, we will be able to secure cyberspace and thus move the ICT sector forward. By the grace of Almighty God, and the sheer will and determination of the Nigerian people will come out stronger and more united than ever against our common enemies. I'd like to thank Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria for its continued commitment and advocacy in matters around cybersecurity. This has no doubt shaped the cause of cybersecurity in Nigeria and has helped engage parties at all levels. Let us further advance the conversation. Let us work together in discovering a sustainable path to secure our cyberspace. I am happy and I want to challenge our military officers that who much is given, much more is expected. They occupy a very, very important and very critical position in the life of Nigeria. We therefore trust that they will continue to assist this country as they have always been doing. May I congratulate you for witnessing this very important conference and wish you very fruitful deliberations as I await the outcome. And therefore formally open this conference with the hope that it will give to Nigeria the best that we can ever have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Okay, we would like to we just heard Barrister
Abdurrahim Adebayo Shitu, and I stand on the existing protocols. This conference wouldn't have come in a better time when there is a new strain of attack, which is affecting a lot of systems around the world, which has been called the WannaCry, and also giving some other, names. On behalf of the President of CSEAN, Mr. Rabia Afon, the Advisory Board and members, I express our profound and most sincere gratitude to you all for honoring our invitation. I wish to express my sincere thanks to Barrister Adebayo Shitu, the Honorable Minister of Communication. We appreciate your unalloyed confidence and support for the association. I believe we have all profited from your wealth of learning and experience. Your address has been quite educative and illuminating. We are extremely grateful also to the Inspector General of Police, represented by Assistant Commissioner of Police, Ayo Omodende, Chief of Army Staff, represented by Brigadier General J. Jacko, and also the Chief of Naval Staff, represented by Rear Admiral Chidi Okonkwo. Our appreciation also goes to the BG, CEO of our National Identity Management Commission, which was represented by Mrs. Chine Kinzia. I thank all the practitioners, researchers, industry and government experts, solution providers, and other prominent figures here present in order to explore the scope of building resilient cyber defense to help the nation get ahead of attackers. We appreciate your love and sense of patriotism in coming to grace this event. May God bless you and grant you continued success in the service of the nation. There is indeed a lot to deliberate upon, and this will definitely enhance our individual and collective contributions to meeting the global cybersecurity challenges. I cannot but recognize with gratitude the invaluable contributions of members of the electronic and print media to the success we have so far achieved. I thank all of you public-spirited Nigerians from far and near who have come not only to grace this event, but also been a supporting pillar towards the activities of the association. Permit me to also acknowledge with thanks all those listed at the back page of our program for their magnanimous donation and invaluable support. And the list are the KPMG, Microsoft Linksec, Panda, Lexmark, and Penny. Due to inadequacy of space and time, we are unable to list all the names of our donors who have contributed in cash or kind to the success of this conference. We thank each and every one of you for your support and encouragement. Please continue to partner with us in our effort to promote awareness of the security of our cyberspace. We all have a role to play in making Nigeria a secure nation. We are also grateful to all those who have been involved in the organization of the event, while they are too numerous to name individually. Prominently among them are the National Excos of CSEAN, Advisory Board, LOC, and other technical committees, as well as all members of the Secretariat staff and who spent time and effort to see this conference through. I wish all delegates a lively and stimulating deliberation. Once again, I want to state that we are all most grateful. We thank you for being with us. It's been a great
Good morning, everybody. The distinguished participants and distinguished professionals, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols observed, duly observed. On behalf of my Director General, Dr. Ibrahim Issa Pantami, the Director General of National Information Development Agency, and the management of NIDA, the DG would have been here this morning, but as you know, that other assignment, other call, came on him, and he told me to come here to represent him and present his keynote address. I consider it a special honor to present this paper at this special occasion organized by CSEAN with the theme Building a Resilient Cyber Defense. My speech is the role of NIDA in national cybersecurity development. The National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, is an agency under the Federal Ministry of Science, under the Federal Ministry of Communications. The agency was created in April year 2001 to implement the Nigeria Information Technology Policy and coordinate general IT development and regulation in the country. In addition, NIDA is mandated to advise government to enhance the security of the nation by using information technology. Thus, NIDA's role in national cybersecurity development is very paramount. By virtue of being the Director General of NIDA, my responsibility in the sphere revolve around safeguarding national critical information infrastructure, responding to, number one, resolving and recovering from cyber incident and attack through timely information sharing, collaboration, and action. To ease my work, I adopted a proactive approach whereby the agency will soon engage and fostering a culture of cybersecurity that promotes safe and and appropriate use of cyberspace that will help us develop and cultivate national cybersecurity capabilities. Collectively, these responsibilities provide the basis for protecting our dear country against cyber threats and preparing for a proactive approach to cyber security, as well as dictating, responding to, and recovering from threats and challenges. We have put structure in place that will help us develop and implement an information security program, which includes procedures and policy designed to protect our IT infrastructure, system, and assets from both external and internal threats. Furthermore, we are setting a platform to enable us to actively collaborate with MDAs, ministry, department, and agencies, and private sector organizations across different sectors to ensure that security systems are working smoothly to reduce the organizational operational risk in the face of security attack. Today, information is digitized everywhere. Both public and private organizations are hugely investing in IT in order to address their information needs. While doing so, there is urgent need to have a paradigm shift regarding the security of our IT assets. I want to add to this that cyber threats is real, and we know it is very real. Just like we know what actually happened recently. And as we continue to utilize the information technology, you discover that the threat continues. And it is like a must that everybody must actually be connected to global access to information access. And for that reason, as we continue to, be connected, and the dynamism is there, and the threat becomes more obvious, and everybody, should be prepared, because the only way out is sensitization, and of course to be aware that this threat is real, and it's real everywhere. Today, information is digitized everywhere. Particularly, having a platform that could serve to fulfill key access of enlightenment of the citizen and collaboration with private organizations like the CSEAN, neither consider pivotal to the development of resilient cyber defense structure and is a global best practice. Statistics are abounding on the criminal activities of cyberspace, and the critical worrisome implication for economic, social, and political and national sovereignty globally. I will not bore you with such statistics as many would have cited CSEAN, but the trending issue of ransomware needs a mention. In response to recent ransomware attacks, the Director General, what he did recently, he issued an advisory message to MDAs and other citizens over the weekend, and acknowledging the replication of these incidents in over 100 countries and involving 150 organizations and individuals. That is actually what our DG actually did. On the media, in the news and radio, he actually gave an advisory kind of message to every Nigerian. The approach to be adopted when you have ransomware attack. Why I'm talking like this, I know that you know what ransomware is. Ransomware is a case whereby you know that somebody can get into your information, into your database, into your application, and actually encrypt it, make it difficult for you to have access. And in trying to have access, it becomes difficult. You request, just like in a normal case, when somebody is taken on ransom, taken away and put somewhere, I said, until you pay this ransom, I cannot release this person. I have to detain him until this certain amount of money is given. So also in IT world, when your information, especially critical information, is actually taken away and made unaccessible to the users, and the request is, okay, pay this amount of money, maybe in cryptocurrency, so that you can actually the encryption will be open so that you can have access to it. So, and it is another dimension in cyber attack. And of course, like since ICT is very dynamic, what will come up tomorrow may be more than ransomware. And we don't know the direction we are going. But the truth is that the attack is obvious and is going to continuously come. And how to tackle it is for us to be ready, prepared, and know that we are actually in the war front. I also indicated strategy of collaboration with the stakeholder to proactively deal with any reported incident within the country. That's what our DG did. And you go to the, I think, Daily Trust, you get it there. In fact, in the news all over. The almost irreversible dependence on digital services and products on offer, and how these digital proceeds have delicately affected the daily activity of all government, private, individual, and businesses, groups, and all others. Enormously positive as the benefit could be, have also come with challenges of security to data, infrastructure, and national sovereignty. The challenges arising from this pervasiveness and ubiquitous committal to the digital world, and what my office is doing to develop this critical phenomenon, we form the crux of this presentation. The role of NIDA in national cyber security development will be discussed in three broad areas of, number one, institutional capacity building and enlightenment, policy formulation and standardization, and internal and external collaboration. On institutional building and enlightenment, NIDA has established a cyber security department that has the responsibility of instituting incident handling and mitigation strategy for MDAs and private sector organizations. It has component units that address business continuity, digital security professional development, computer emergency readiness and response team, that's SAT, and public key infrastructure, PKI development, which implementation further strive to establish a dependable digital space for secured e-commerce transaction on the national trust infrastructure. The ITU Global Security Index, which rated all countries of the world on legal measures, technical measures, organizational and capacity building and cooperation, places NIDA on 14 with a score of 0.441. NIDA's role in cybersecurity development has been tailored to improve on this ranking. In addition to building capacity to satisfy the insatiable landscape, even for experts of skill and professional human capital. To this end, training programs have been conducted for NIDA security officers, for MDA security officers. What we are saying here, what NIDA has done in the issue of capacity, what we this year or late last year, the system administrators and the network administrators in all the ministry, department, and parastatals, we conducted a capacity building enhancement on actually how to actually check their system for vulnerability and threats, and how to mitigate any attack that may actually come up on their networks, the database, and the rest. In fact, over Close to 100 of them attended, and it was a one-week program. Advanced training specifically for military and paramilitary officers was also conducted. We actually have a SAT in NITDA, and we have been collaborating, working with the military and paramilitary, and training them on a number of incident handling, and not only that, and vulnerability. And in fact, it took them some weeks of training. They used our lab, our SAT, and they able to actually see how to mitigate incidents and attacks when need arises. And that training was conducted, last year, and of course last year and last 2 years. And that involved the paramilitary and the military. I know the defense, I know the number of them came up. I know the military was there. I know also the not custom actually. Air Force was there, and a good number of them attended that program. It was a 2-week program for a number of them. For international recognition, institutions are encouraged to uptake cybersecurity management tools such as ISM and ISO 2001 certification in cybersecurity. Individuals are also encouraged to get certified in cybersecurity. All the stakeholders in this cybersecurity project, because it's a dynamic threat. It is a thing that will continue to reoccur and occur, and not even occurring that what you know yesterday. The new threat will come tomorrow. It will come next tomorrow. And there is no border that can prevent it. Just like the physical war, you will say this is my boundary. But in the cyber threat, there's no boundary. And so our Director General is interested in working with all the stakeholders to ensure that Nigerian cyberspace is protected. And he actually has told me to extend his support to you. And he's happy that you're organizing this workshop as well. It's a means of sensitization and awareness creation, and of course educate others. So anytime you have this workshop, we'll be ready to attend, and whatever you need in order to ensure that the Nigerian cyberspace is protected, he will be willing to support you. And on this note, I want to thank you and wish you a successful workshop. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. C.O. Okereke, for that wonderful piece there based on the role of NITDA in cybersecurity development in Nigeria. Mrs. Tankwa Ashiru from the Bulwark Intelligence to give us more on threats intelligence as a catalyst for cyber defense. Why are we not clapping her? Because she's a lady. Like this. Welcome, madam. I should hold the mic.
No. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. All right. I thought we just had coffee and tea, and we should all be wide awake right now. So I'm going to wait for them to get their screen down, get my presentation going. I gave them a bit of trouble earlier when I was trying to give them my flash drive. So they're so similar, they overlap. So I really hope you get to learn a thing or two from this. Now, one of the first things I did when I was in this was I noticed that there was a slight difference anyway between crime intelligence, which is security threats intelligence, and cyber threat intelligence. But I just thought that we'll start off by looking at what threat intelligence is in general. And it involves providing useful information about existing threats, okay? To your assets, to your operations. And when you find out what these threats are, you give the information to personnel, to the organization, so that they can act accordingly, put things in place, put structures in place, and make sure that they can protect themselves. Now, the difference between security threat intelligence And cyber threat intelligence simply has to do with what is contained in the information. I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you some examples of security threat intelligence that we have gathered as board, we've produced, published, and we share with our clients about crime in Nigeria in general. Now, don't worry, I know some of it is hard to read, but I'll try to help you look at it. But this one here, this is on armed robberies, some of the insights that we got on armed robberies in general in Nigeria. And this, should affect everyone. We all live in this country. And so we saw that there's actually a particular day of the week, this is Tuesday, that tends to have the highest armed robberies in Nigeria. Don't ask me why, I don't know why. But they just like Tuesday for some reason. This bar here is Lagos State, okay? Lagos State reported the most armed robberies in Nigeria. Why? Obviously, it's the most populated, state in the country. I'm sure if we did it per capita, which is based on population, I'm sure Lagos State won't be the top. And then we also had here some armed robbery incidents reported per month, okay? And this started from August, and this is down here to March. And what we found was that there's a direct correlation between crime during the festive season and crime and festive seasons. So in this case, in August, we saw a spike in armed robberies, and there was a festive season in September known as Eid, right? Okay. Then also, we saw the same thing in November. There was a spike in November prior to the December Christmas. And we kind of saw the same thing again in March. Currently looking at August data, armed robberies are less. So for some reason, again, in Nigeria, right before the holidays is coming, and these young guys are thinking, man, let's do something, and that's what we find. Okay, what about herdsmen attacks? We hear about all these herdsmen attacks all the time. We've seen things like, okay, this map even shows you that there are two different routes. Some of you already know this, some of you don't, but the map already shows it to you, and then you can confirm from any other analysts that look at the situation. What happens is herdsmen migrate from two different parts into Nigeria. You have the ones that come from up north here, which is, does anyone know what country is up there? Country. Niger, exactly. So the guys that go from up north, down south on this angle are actually from Niger. And then you have the ones that come from here, and they go this way, they're from Cameroon. Usually, Kogi, this is Kogi State right here. Kogi is usually highlighted, meaning there's also activity that goes on there. Kogi it borders 10 different states in Nigeria. From Kogi, you can literally go to any other part of Nigeria. Did you know that? Well, if you didn't, now you do. And so, what we find though is that the nature of attacks that go on here, they actually mirror Boko Haram style attacks. Now, that kind of makes sense because Boko Haram originated from where? From this area. So there's a lot of that copycat stuff going on. Now, that's why we know that whatever is going on in Kaduna is a bit out of the norm. It's not normal. I'm sure, we look into it further, we'll find out and uncover some other things. So these are just some brief things to find out, we saw different states, the states that reported the most, and so on. And then, in terms of kidnapping, this is Friday, right here. Yeah, did you guys know that? Did you know that Fridays tend to have the most kidnappers tend to strike the most on Fridays? Do you guys kind of know why? Does anyone know why? Huh? We're in a lecture. I'm not passing anybody. Nobody's getting a pass grade until I hear some answers. Does anyone can you guess? Can anyone even guess why? The weekend, exactly. And one other thing we found out was that law enforcement activity is the lowest on Fridays. Defense especially, in terms of chatter. Okay, we monitor all the chatter that's going on crime across the country. We found out that defense, Fridays, virtually non-existent. Law enforcement, which is the police, it's really low. So they make you panic. It's Friday over the weekend. You're trying to figure out, oh my gosh, are we going to hear back from them? Before they call and and tell you, okay, this is what we want or this is how much we want, and then you have Monday to start figuring out what you need to do. So those are some of the things we found out. Of course, this here just shows that between December and January, there was a deep decrease in kidnapping, and so it told us the nature of why these guys were kidnapping in the first place. It's it was almost Christmas season, and they were just trying to make the Christmas make sense. Again, Lagos reports the highest, but there's a reason for that. A lot of the media guys, are located in Lagos, so anyone sneezes, oh my gosh, someone sneezed in Lagos. Whereas, things happen in Jigawa all the time and in other states all the time, but we don't actually get to read about them. All right, so really, see, I just did all of that to explain to you in essence that when we're looking at threat intelligence, we're sending out security threat intelligence. Okay, we're able to take daily open source data over time, use analytical software and human analysts, and then we come up with all these trends and patterns and observations, and all of that helps the client protect themselves from danger. All right. Now, in essence, it's pretty much the same thing with cyber threats. But then the major difference with that, aside from it being the data that you're looking at, is that the major difference is that the rate at which cyber threats are growing in terms of the number of attacks and their sophistication is explosive. All right? I can tell you, there were this many number of armed robberies in Lagos and so on. When we are again, and if you can increase that, that would be great.
Best defense is a good offense. So the Pentagon challenged hackers to assault its cybersecurity system. The experiment ended today. Here's David Martin with Revenge of the Nerds.
Walking the halls of the Pentagon in his hoodie, Chris Lynch has been mistaken for a repairman. As in, how long will it take you to fix my phone?
This is the weirdest moment in my life. I never thought I'd show up in government. I never thought that I'd be working at the Pentagon.
A software entrepreneur from Seattle, Lynch was brought in by Defense Secretary Carter to head a new office called the Defense Digital Service.
The title on the door says Rebel Alliance.
I like to say that the Rebel Alliance is anybody who wants to be part of working around and changing the bureaucracy. And I believe that is our mission. If we don't, I don't know.
Just as in Star Wars, this Rebel Alliance, actually a staff of 12, is out to do battle with a mighty empire, the old and slow Pentagon bureaucracy.
We're kind of a SWAT team for nerds.
Bureaucracy busters.
Yeah, we have actually a type of person. One of our skill sets that we hire is actually a bureaucracy hacker.
Lynch's first project was called Hack the Pentagon. Pay a bounty to anyone who can find a way to hack into 5 of the Defense Department's public websites.
So Hack the Pentagon doesn't even sound legal.
There were a lot of people who didn't like that name.
And most hackers, I think, are seen as malicious.
Not every hacker is bad. That's the big change here, is that we're now allowing people who actually want to, that are not malicious, to do it.
In 6 weeks, 1,400 hackers uncovered 90 vulnerabilities in the software. Flaws which could be exploited to tamper with the sites.
We had our first vulnerability that came in 13 minutes from the launch of the program. We just kind of mapped things out.
Lynch has covered an entire wall with plans for overhauling Pentagon software that go far beyond public websites. Which is why Army Lieutenant Colonel Joe Roman came looking for a software solution to the paperwork of recruiting.
This will be fun since we don't speak your language, you don't speak ours. This will be... I'll try to speak slowly and loudly so that you understand.
Lynch finds out the Army is creating digital files the old-fashioned way.
So they're printing all the stuff and then they're scanning it? Is that what they're doing?
There's a lot of printing and scanning.
Another potential project for Lynch's Great White Wall, which ends with this admonition. Governments hate 2 things, change and the way things are. David Martin, CBS News, Pentagon.
So I actually love that saying. Government hates 2 things: change, and they're going to look at you like, nah, we don't like change. So that's one of it. But then it's also to show you that to establish a resilient cyber defense, it costs a lot of money. It requires constant human and financial resources. But just because we're not there yet, let's be honest. What do you think will happen if our government made an announcement? Hey, come hack the DHQ. What do you think will happen? Come help us find our vulnerabilities. The guy said within 14 minutes they already found some. And so this is part of what we actually really ought to be doing if you're actually serious about trying to patch up any vulnerabilities, because that's really all what threat intelligence is about. Sorry, excuse me. The best thing we can do to build a solid cyber defense is to, 1, know the threats, okay? Number 2, avoid the threats as best as possible by developing different structures, defenses, and and all of that. That's if avoidance is not possible. Number 3, eliminate vulnerabilities constantly. You constantly have to keep searching. What are my vulnerabilities? And as soon as you find them, eliminate them. And And when you kind of miss all three, then the last best thing you can do is just to manage the incident when it actually occurs. And that's what I said about threat intelligence companies. They actually help you, their systems are constantly monitoring, constantly looking for vulnerabilities, constantly figuring out the threats. The moment they find something out, immediately it's patching it in real time and then changing stuff around, okay? Are you still with me? Yes. Yes, all right, good. That's what I like to hear. All right, so now, I actually, when it comes to cyber threats in Nigeria today, I know we're financially motivated cyber crimes, okay? We're dealing with love scams, website DDoSs, cyber blackmail. Do you guys remember the story of those Canadian girls? The, Matharu sisters? Okay, if you know the story, raise up your hands. If you don't know the story, raise up your hands. If you don't, do you want me to, if you don't know the story, raise up your hands. Do you want me to tell the story? Yes. All right. There are these two girls, right? They're sisters. They look like the Kardashian sisters. They actually are from Canada, but they came to Nigeria once. They were what we call an import, which is some guy flew them to Nigeria, showed them the good life, okay, of the rich and famous in Nigeria. And before we knew it, they just made their base here. And so these girls were actually staying at Echo Hotel. For those of you who have been to Lagos, one of the most expensive hotels in Lagos, and they had cameras in there. And what they would do is they will film themselves having all sorts of, in all sorts of acts with very high-valued individuals, prominent men, senators, governors, like high-profile guys. The crazy thing about it is I thought to myself, man, if we wanted to take down the government of this country, I mean, those two girls really had a lot of stuff in their arsenal. So what happened was they would have these videos, and then they started using it as blackmail. So they would contact these guys and say, hey, this is what, but they didn't do it themselves. They had like a third-party website. They say, look, well, this is what we have. If you want us to tell your story to all of Nigeria, then you'll pay a certain amount of money. They were living the lifestyle of the rich and famous. I mean, their Instagram page just had me questioning my morals, like, does it pay to be nice? Shouldn't I? No, never. Anyway, but, so finally, they went after the wrong person. Very rich billionaire, Femi Otadala, who, I don't know if you guys have seen him, goes around with a Nokia phone because he knows the threats, right, associated with smartphones. And so the guy was thinking, really? You guys want to play this nonsense? He was actually eventually able to find the person that was posting their website. They had a website, and what happened was, if you didn't give them the money, they will post your stuff on the website. It's called Niger Gist or something. I mean, a lot of people went there. So found the person who was handling the website eventually, and then they found the girls. And that's how they locked them up. So it's cyber blackmail, they will post your information online, ask you to send money, and so on. That is kind of the level we're seeing here. So we know, ransomware is almost the same thing. Hey, we're going to lock up your systems, encrypt it, pay us some money, release it for you. It's kind of the same thing, but we use different methods. So here in Nigeria, many of the cyber attacks are perpetrated by Nigerian cyber criminals are money motivated. They're financial, I get it. But I implore you, we need to start seeing cyber threats as it affects national security and the sovereignty of Nigeria. The reason why I actually brought this up is because, I don't know, maybe it's because of my background in NSA, officials, security officials who are sharing classified information using their personal email addresses or even conducting business using their Gmail accounts, their Yahoo accounts. I mean, it's kind of a big deal. Are they aware of how many eyes are actually tracking the information that's going through their emails? Now, much of the vulnerability in Nigeria also has to do with our dependence on foreign countries for too many things. And I'll explain why. Back in 1979, the U.S. Embassy in the Soviet Union was constructed using Soviet materials, okay? Later, before the U.S. officials went in there, they discovered that the building was embedded with eavesdropping equipment. The entire building was bugged, completely, and it was from the materials that they used to build it. So, of course, the U.S. couldn't actually move in there. They ended up taking the whole thing apart. I mean, this was when it was under the Soviet Union. So they ended up taking the whole thing apart, and then finally ended up using American material and American workers to build their American embassy, okay? Now, let's not be naive about this. When a nation keeps buying defense equipment from other countries, you actually risk having parts that can be controlled by the seller who has embedded his malicious software in the equipment, all right? We keep buying, maybe for instance, Chinese UAVs. What happens today? We say, you know what, let's go to the moon, check what's going on in China. They will help you land it in their airport for you because they already have all of that information. Say, you know, Mr. Remy contracts to somebody to buy gifts for everybody to take home with them. And because we order everything from where? China. So inside they will put USB, you know, planner, daily planner, and so on. And you get all of that. What you don't realize is that the moment you plug that camera or you plug that USB into your computer, you have infected your computer with a malware program that lets electronic spies into your company's system, into your system, your company's system, and so on. Okay? These are the sort of things that happen. So when we have our delegates who are going there unknowingly, you know, they give them gifts, they say, yeah, thank you. Plug it in, and it's a wrap. All right? So I have another...
Vegas. I've always found it strangely fascinating. You've got gamblers, adrenaline junkies, instant pariahs, Darth Vader, Chewbacca, everyone's looking for $1. From this standpoint, Vegas is about the show, the promise of something better. But on this particular week, there's a different type of show. You might not even realize it's happening, but I'd suggest you turn off your Wi-Fi, because during this week, this strange little mecca fills with what's becoming one of the most influential groups in the world, hackers. Thousands and thousands of hackers descended on Vegas to party and hack. If Vegas is a gigantic party, every year at cybersecurity conferences Black Hat and DEF CON, the best hackers in the world gather to show off their party tricks. It's not what are you drinking, it's more like what are you hacking.
So if I'm a malicious merchant, I can record a few of the credit card swipes, then later at home charge you any amount I want.
Think about hacking as a modern day superpower. It can be used for good or evil. Josh Corman is a hacker who uses his power for good.
Well, mistake number one is thinking hacking is bad, right? It's a form of power, and power can be used for all sorts of reasons. I'm a big fan of Stan Lee, and the whole Spider-Man thing, with great power comes great responsibility.
What divides the people that use their powers for good and the people that use their powers for bad?
It all comes down to motivation, right? Technology is used by different people for different things. You know, take a hammer. A hammer can build a home or can crack a skull.
Here's why this group matters. These days, everything from playing to like tear this apart and show how vulnerable it is.
How many of you own iPhones here? Or even Microsoft. How many of you use like Word, Microsoft, and all of that? How many of you get frustrated when they tell you, oh, we have to update? Really, do you have to? Right? Same thing. The iPhone is even worse. That thing keeps popping up. You want to throw the phone away. You'd rather throw the phone away than for you to actually upgrade it. So we just don't like that inconvenience. The second is that it costs a lot. I mean, let's call it spade a spade. The Pentagon, because they're looking all good. The guy's wearing a hoodie, he's coming in there. Do you know how much that program cost? It was at least $14 million just to get that guy to call him and a group of 12 people just to start. And when they did that initial hack the Pentagon and they saw how successful it was, they ended up upping the budget. It costs a lot of money for you to keep running a software that's tracking all the different sensors, because what happens, these threats, like, they're changing constantly. So, anyway, that we're really going to get to that point of building a cyber defense. And the government of this nation, I say, I speak to you, I speak to this country, I speak to all of that the government of this nation will not sit down until they adjust themselves in accordance with what you say. Amen. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your listening to it.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Tanwa. We appreciate another round of applause for her. Next,
insightful, and I think it's been a wonderful time here today. This afternoon I'll be speaking on the subject, cybersecurity and the role of board and senior management. Today we've talked about a lot of things. While I wait for the presentation to come up, today we've talked about how critical the issue of cybersecurity is for governments and also for businesses. Today we've talked about the WannaCrypt ransomware. We've talked about a lot of things happening in the cyberspace. But the dimension I want to take this afternoon is to speak to what should be done by the board and senior management. What should be the responsibilities of those that are charged with governance? What should be the responsibilities of those who are in charge of managing businesses? And these are the questions that we want to answer this afternoon. The other thing I'll be talking about is the steps that we're taking today. Okay, thank you. So why? This speaks to what happens on the internet in 60 seconds. We are in a digital age. There is no need to overflow the matter. This is a digital age. A lot of things happen. Imagine that. Can we have the presentation? Yes? Over 60 million. Do you have a contrary view? We have over 3.4 billion internet users globally. So we live in a connected world. There is a quote from the World Economic Forum, the Global Risk Report of 2015. It says that everything networked can be hacked. Anything that is connected can be hacked. So this tells us that we need to pay attention to cyber. As much as we have over 3.4 billion internet users, we have more than 6.4 billion connected things. We all know about the Internet of Things. So it means that as you are as a single person, you may have 4 things that are connected to the internet. So you have your laptop connected to the internet, your phone connected to the internet. Maybe you have some wearable devices also connected to the internet. Soon, maybe in Nigeria also will have cars that are connected to the internet. Maybe your lighting system at home is connected to the internet. Life has to be easy. And that is why the digitization initiative will continue to grow. But what is the risk around this? Experts have predicted that by 2020, you have over 21 billion things that will be connected to the internet. So this is the age of digitization. I speak to 5 big bets of disruptive technology. We have heard about disruptions. It means that the normal course of businesses will change as they are changing today. Banks are going digital. Banks are going branchless. And we want life to be easy. But are we considering the cybersecurity impact of the steps that we are taking? We have a lot of e-government or e-governance initiatives. We want to digitize documents. If you go to ministries and parastatals, you see that for some ministries or for some MDAs, there are digitization initiatives. Documents that hitherto we have in files are being digitized. We're implementing document management systems. But are we thinking about the cyber security impact of that? We have heard of digital labor. Digital labor is replacing human labor or augmenting human labor. So it means that what we do naturally that humans do, we want to replace those activities. We want robots to do them. There are a lot of things being talked about around digital labor. We talked about omni-enterprise. Businesses want to be customer-centric. They want to do everything to please the customer. Banks are implementing omni-channels, where if you're doing a transaction on your internet banking, you can continue that same transaction on your mobile. These are good initiatives. But what is the cyber impact of this? I've talked about the Internet of Things. In Nigeria, maybe we haven't seen so much. But we're going to see more because this is a global village. We're going to see more of things being connected to the internet in Nigeria. The journey to the cloud. In Lagos, you now have a number of cloud service providers, people doing co-location. They encourage us to move things to the cloud. They encourage businesses to move things to the cloud. Because you want to run your businesses effectively. Why do you want to buy servers? When you can do the same thing with a cost that is like 1/10 of what you will pay for buying servers. It sounds good. But what of the risks that are attached? These are questions that we need to ask and answer. Software development at the speed of business. Every business wants to be agile. The speed to market has to be very low. When you see the e-commerce business model, most of them have developers in-house. Because as they see a product, as they have an idea, they want to develop right there. So organizations are looking at continuous delivery. All these speak to the fact that we need to consider the impact of cybersecurity. The enemy is on the move. Don't forget, I'm speaking on why cyber should be a priority, why we should think about it, why we should take steps. Today, a lot of people have talked about how we need to be proactive. The days of the script kiddies are over. The days when you have people who are just using scripts developed by other people and all that. You have very organized cyber criminals, syndicates, those who have mastered the business. Last week, it's still ongoing, it's not over. 150 countries and still counting. If you took your statistics on Saturday, maybe it would be 90 or 100. Today, it's above 150. Over 300,000 computers have been infected just within 72 hours. The Europol said that this is unprecedented. We haven't seen this before. When you combine the power of a ransomware with that of a war, it was designed. So by design, it was meant to be big. It wasn't by mistake. The spread of WannaCrypt was not by mistake. It was by design that it should be big. I'm not going to speak to the blame game that is ongoing, or who is at fault, who should have done what. But the truth of it is that the man who had his surgery postponed because of WannaCrypt is not going to listen to blame. He's not going to listen to excuses. If someone has lost a loved one because they could not access his medical record and they could not do what they needed to do in the hospital, that person is not going to listen to the excuses around. Oh, why didn't you tell us that you have seen this vulnerability in January? Why didn't you tell us long before now? For someone who had lost important data, into the system may be different from the person that is selling the credit card. So you have teams, some people are marketing, some people are in research and development. It's a complete syndicate. So digitization initiatives will not stop. But the incubators and the disruptors. So you disrupt a business. You know that typically you have taxi companies who have taxis, who have cars. But because of digitization, you have the largest taxi company today does not own a car. Do you know? The largest hotel service provider or accommodation provider does not have any building. This is all how technology enables businesses. The conventional business model must also master the risk attached to this digital world. You master the risk around how you run your businesses. But now as you go digital, you need to master the risk around the digital business. Symantec released a report in 2016 covering the year 2015. Over 430 million new unique pieces of malware were discovered just in 2015. There was a 10-day vulnerability discovered every week. So it's obvious that cybersecurity must be a subject of discussion and of consideration by any leader for businesses and for government, because it can't be ignored. What do we have? The enemy. This is just to define the enemy. You have the competitors. You have the insider. A number of organizations have had cyber attacks that were caused by the insiders. Surveys carried out by different experts reveal that a lot of the time, whether deliberately or unintentionally, you have insiders causing havoc. You have state-sponsored enemies. You have the active. Senior person in that organization will be talked to. The Ministry of Interior in Russia. Being agile enough to respond to a cyber event often depends as much on an organization's governance as their technology capability. People talk so much about technology capability, but that's not all about cyber. There is a major role for governance. There is a major role for those who are sitting in the boardroom. There is a major role for them to play to ensure that organizations are more secure to cyber threats. And this is the focus of my presentation this afternoon. Governance. Are those charged with governance, are they doing enough? What does it cover? Is Is our cybersecurity strategy aligned with our business strategy? That is if you have a cybersecurity strategy. Is our strategy aligned with regulatory requirements? There are organizations in Nigeria that are very well regulated, like banks. There are a lot of regulatory requirements for banks in Nigeria. What we are doing in cybersecurity, is it aligned with regulatory requirements? These are the questions for the board. These are the questions that board members must ask. Do we have adequate capabilities to respond to and mitigate a cyber threat or cyber risk? Or when an attack crystallizes, do we have the capability to respond? People buy tools that have been implemented and never worked. I've seen investments that have gone down the drain on cybersecurity. And it's because there is no strategy. It's because those solutions sometimes were bought for the sake of just buying. Someone has promised that this is going to solve the problem. Have we considered how this solution is aligned with other solutions that we have in-house? Do our partners and service providers have equivalent capability and skills to protect our data? We're moving data into the cloud. Because of recession, every organization, every CEO has the mandate to cut costs. This is a valid business argument. Your running costs must drop in this time or in this season. So sometimes people consider outsourcing certain functions. But as you outsource some of your key functions to service providers, have you considered the third-party risk? Have you asked the question, are my service providers also able to protect my data the way I will protect my data? Must be connected to other organizations to run. You have to be connected to the switch. You have to be connected to CBN. You have to be connected to the card brands. You have to be connected to NIPS. There are other third-party service providers that you have to be connected with or connected to. So this speaks to the fact there is a need for you to manage your third-party ecosystem. You need to have your blue team. You need to practice defense. You need to have your red team. You need to have a team that is measuring what is being done and assessing the adequacy. You need to have a steering committee that is overseeing what is being done. Scenarios, cyber attack scenarios must be developed, and then they need to be exercised. One other next generation measure, have one IDS, one IPS, one firewall somewhere, one database activity monitoring tool. All these systems are collecting data. The question is, what do you do with the data? What kind of analysis do you do with the data? We need to be able to bring out meaningful information from the data that we collect. To be able to detect anomalous behaviors, there's a need for cyber analytics. And I speak to the third one, which is identity management. Again and again, it's been said that identity is the new perimeter. Identity is the new perimeter. How are you managing identity and access in your organization? These are key considerations for any organization that will develop a cyber resilient business. Resilience is not speaking to the fact that there will not be attack or there shouldn't be attack. What resilience is saying is that even if you are attacked, are you able to stand? Are you able to run your businesses? The last one on this note is on third-party cyber risk. Do you do due diligence and risk assessment before onboarding a third party to your network? Do you do a risk profiling for third party? What kind of third party assessments do you perform? Is there a procedure for reporting issues? Some organizations have been hacked not just because they were porous, but because they were connected to organizations that are porous. Is that cyber risk is strategic, and there is a need to approach cyber risk in a strategic way. What we have done is to divide what we do into four. So there is a need to prepare, there is a need to protect, there is a need to detect and respond, and there is a need to integrate whatever you're doing to your enterprise. Cyber risk should not impede innovative ideas. Governments want to get digitized. You want to move to e-governance. We believe that if cyber risk is adequately managed, it should not prevent or impede your progress in digitization. I believe that as we continue in this conference, one key message that should come out of this conference is the fact that even though the risk is complex, it is not impossible to tackle. Thank you so much.
Another round of applause for
this is normal, right? It could happen if the forces are strong enough, right? So what we are trying to look at here is in cybersecurity, I look at it as a chain, which, if broken, what could cause the break in the chain of cybersecurity? I picked up this from this quote here from Kevin Mitnick. Some of you know Kevin Mitnick, the popular social engineer. The weakest link in security, in the security chain, is the human element. Is it not working? Cyber threats and attacks are becoming commonplace and sophisticated and damaging within the last 10 to 15 years. Global annual cybercrime costs will go from $3 trillion in 2015 to $6 trillion. That's according to Checkpoint. So there's this statistics here of how cyber attacks have attacked Nigeria or have affected Nigeria between 2010 to 2012. If you look at that, you see that the .gov.ng, our official .gov.ng domain suffix was most impacted. That rings a bell. In 2012, some of government parastatals and agencies were also affected. CBN, that's according to reports, CBN, Ministry of Science and Technology. These are some of the things that happened in the news, where people are being warned about social engineering and how it's affecting Nigeria. The main purpose of this paper today is to talk about social engineering. We'll soon come to the point where it's briefly discussed or where it's briefly explained. So I looked at this from a different approach. I tried to look at it holistically. Companies have spent considerable time and money deploying technical defenses and controls. However, an integral and often neglected part of the security chain is the human element. Humans are often most easily exploitable in most cases. As technology evolves and the need for knowledgeable professionals, equally increases. And at the same time, attackers and their technology keep improving as well. But the human-based awareness of how to defend against these attacks continue to be minimal. Companies and users often focus mostly on technical knowledge needed in cyber defense. Ultimately, they ignore the social awareness of securing our assets. To deceive people, things and use it for malicious purposes. Tailgating, phishing attacks, which is a very popular one. We have the eavesdropping, Trojan horses. I'll pick on some of this as we move along, just a few of them. I tried to get just a brief cycle of social engineering attack. It starts with gathering information. The information could be gathered from calling somebody on the phone, maybe a receptionist, trying to get some information about the company, about the CEO, about different people that work in the organization. It could also come through email, phishing, which is quite popular. Then once in the process of gathering that information, you try to develop a relationship with that person to make the person comfortable with you as you're pulling whatever information you want to pull. Once you develop that relationship, you start exploiting the relationship. You can do that by offering money or enticing, giving someone something very enticing for them to fall for. And then once you've done that, you've achieved your aim and you execute whatever you want to execute. So that's just a brief social engineering cycle. So the main focus of this paper is just to talk about the human nature and how it affects social engineering. I looked at human nature in terms of human nature itself, which is quite important. The low cost of these attacks. Someone walking into an organization, it doesn't cost the person much to just walk in, just keep walking around, looking for a loophole somewhere that they can leverage and get into the organization. We'll talk about some of them quickly. Then the power of insider threats. The last speaker mentioned that as well as part of his presentation. Then there are also technology factors which attackers leverage on. Social engineering attackers, they leverage on some technology factors which are the high computing power of infrastructure. We all know how cloud computing has helped us these days. It's actually a fast way of performing operations. You don't have to buy equipment. If you know an organization after your reconnaissance and find out that that organization is hosting its AWS, that's Amazon Web Services, for example. You can just go to Amazon Web Services website, buy a space from them, open an account, buy a space. If you know what you're doing, you could actually try to buy the space on the same hypervisor or whatever platform that they're using for hosting their service. And from there, you start your reconnaissance. Hacking is just a step away. So anonymity of electronic communication, the Tor networks and so many anonymous systems that we can use to penetrate. And people can easily research on other individuals just by going to Google. So it's quite easy these days. So the human nature, I try to look at this in 3 questions. The psychology of social engineering. Can all human beings fall victim to social engineering at some point? Some of the things that I considered here, this has to do with the common general tendencies of the human nature, like I mentioned earlier. Social engineering is rooted in deception And you agree with me that all humans are susceptible to being deceived. As we grow up, there are some things that our parents taught us about being polite, about being trustworthy, about being loyal, about being friendly, helpful. These are some of the key things that social engineers leverage. And when they find out that some of those things are obtainable from someone, they can leverage that and perform their attacks. The social engineer preys upon the motivation of the target to be loyal, okay, just like I mentioned earlier. Social engineers exploit that inbuilt desire to be helpful by appearing to be in desperate need of help. This is quite, it happens often. When someone comes in, say they come into the office and tell you, oh, I forgot my access card, please, can I just get into the office with you? You may not have known the person before, you may not have seen the person, but just to be, helpful, you open the door and the person jumps in. You don't know what the person is doing in your organization. The person just steps in, and the rest is history, like they say. The social engineer often uses the tendency to be obedient, enhanced by the environment of the workplace, and coupled with some form of deception to manipulate the employee. So the social engineer, after studying an organization for a while, they could find out some weaknesses or some flaws in that environment, and then they use that to actually leverage an employee who is susceptible to such threats. So the second question, are there people with certain personality types who are more susceptible to social engineering? Some people are more trusting as opposed to more suspicious. I don't know if you agree with me on that one. While others are more giving as opposed to more selfish. These are the traits that a social engineer looks at and leverages. The attacker seeks to exploit those who, by their nature, tend to be more helpful and more trusting. This is quite normal. The attacker may see an opportunity that an individual is more likely to be susceptible to attack based on their tendencies. So by studying an organization and looking at the people that work in the organization, they could put a call to IT. Let's say they call technical support and someone picks up the phone, a social engineer in disguise. That attacker, employee could just, human nature, you just try and help the person. But the attacker has achieved what they want to achieve. Tools and techniques can be applied to scientifically help determine the personality traits of an organization's human resources. That takes us to some of the techniques or some of the things that you should look out for. There's this technique called the ocean. So ocean means openness. These are qualities of human beings. Openness, conscientiousness, minded. If an attacker does their investigations or researches on an organization, makes phone calls, and they find out that some employees are, they always want to help people, they're open-minded, they try to be free with people, they can leverage that. Conscientiousness, these are people who basically are trustworthy, they're easily trustworthy. They have this sense of purpose and responsibility. An attacker who knows what they're doing can craft a form of attack in terms of social engineering to penetrate through that employee, for example. Extroversion. These are people who basically are sociable. So, they like to relate with people, they try to, always be on the groovy part of things. They leverage on that too. Agreeableness, these are people who are trusting, accepting, and all that. So all these are some of the traits that an attacker could leverage.
They also need to be secure themselves, which is why this topic came to mind. So, quickly, what is cybersecurity? I would like to go too deep into that because if you're here, you obviously know what cybersecurity means. So I won't waste much time defining terms here. But basically, it's a body of technologies, processes, and practices defined to protect network computers and programs and data from attack, damage, and unauthorized access. Simply put. Now, we know if you look back to, say, 2 decades ago. Okay. 90s, which had lined rows of cabinets filled with files, law books, and very little use of technology. And that had been mainly the traditional way of doing business. Law firms today have evolved from that. And you have so many options in storing confidential data these days, which will vary in their level of security, which law firms use. So how do you protect this data once it's on the cloud or on various other platforms that we use today? You realize that there are various uses for this technology, like I said, which is you have people having digitized law offices. You have the use of smart sensors for offices. Law firms use innovative and quick communication options like the email platforms, platforms, share work acceleration options for law firms, and also we have international work collaborations aided by various platforms that are used by these law firms. We have innovative marketing options and easy access to lawyers and legal services. All these promote prompt service delivery, and it's actually a new age for law firms these days. So now, why should law firms be secure? I've already said it. It's a question that has been answered in a way. You see that law firms have a treasure trove of data. There are so many things you divulge to your lawyer in confidence. And I'm sure the reason why I asked the question initially was, what if you had a lawyer at some point, even if you're a business person, if you've set up a business before, you had access to a lawyer and you divulge certain information about yourself or your company. If you have a will, you've given out very important information about your property and your family. If you've done any kind of business that involved a lawyer, you've divulged information that is very sensitive and should never be reviewed by for any reason whatsoever. So law firms have that duty to protect your data from any kind of leak or have secrets and sensitive information, corporate finance relating to corporate client finances. You have various information relating to litigation. Just in addition to what I said, you have gigabytes, perhaps even terabytes of email correspondence between you and your lawyer. It's very important that all of this information is guarded and kept in confidence from any attacks. I'm sure we all heard about the scandal of the Panama Papers, which rocked the world, shook the world. A lot of people were scandalized. You had governments, people in government, people, celebrities. You had businesses that were exposed, to say, for lack of a better term. But there were also people that were not involved, maybe transactions that were handled by that law firm, Mossack Fonseca, up on the cloud server, and somebody comes and tells you, oh, the cloud servers are not that secure. What is the next trend? What is the next thing we need to do? They are always anxious to find out the next step of security to put to protect our confidential data. So what do we do then? Do we go back to using paper for all of our business, or do we simply find out a way to better protect ourselves? According to Nigeria's 2017 Cybersecurity Outlook by Deloitte, Nigeria will face increased cases of ransomware attacks targeting the fast-growing SMEs, and more cyber criminals are likely to shift their focus from individual organizations to cloud service providers. Well, they didn't mention law firms, but I believe they are preventable. I believe they are, because if we are going to be using various technologies, we should also understand the threats that are out there. So it's very professionally or irresponsible to go ahead and implement external consultants and maybe have somebody in-house. Now I'm calling on ICT practitioners, people who are in IT security, to look at that market. It's an opportunity. There are various security risks that law firms are exposed to, and I believe people from this room today, there are maybe software developers, there are ethical hackers, there are people who actually have various roles to play. So I'm calling on you to look at this particular role. Law firms actually need that support. So when handling law firm IT security, and you have communication lapses, you have lack of training of innovative methods of securing confidential data, lack of proper tools, and constantly taking the back seat for job satisfaction. We need to fill up that particular role with more qualified and competent ICT administrators. So, on that note, we are looking at cyber experts and legal experts. What this collaboration is going to be very, very important, because we realized that there were certain lacunas in the legislation, Cybercrime and Prohibition Act. Experts collaborating to maybe form some kind of partnership. Now, we know that the future of law practice is digital, so law firms must work with cybersecurity experts to stay cyber secure. There are various ways this can benefit us. I've mentioned a few. We work together to come up with bespoke options. Let's say you look at our current practice management softwares that we have. They are mainly international brands or international softwares that might not appeal to our peculiar needs here. So we need that.
He has a lot of enemies. One case in point, he aided law enforcement to arrest a DDoS for hire service called DDoS. And some months later, he was attacked with a very large attack, which was about 620 gigabits per second attack. A month per second attack, which was like twice the size of what happened to Brian Krebs. So let's talk about what it does, denial of service attack is. So spread across a large geographical area. So that's the difference. Types of DDoS attacks. We classify DDoS attacks into 3 different groups. We have volume-based DDoS attacks. We have protocol-based DDoS attacks and application layer DDoS attacks. So what are the differences? A volume-based DDoS attack, the aim of a volume-based DDoS attack is just to saturate the bandwidth of a particular network. So the delivered traffic there is much larger than the bandwidth that you have in your network, thereby making your network unavailable. Protocol-based DDoS attacks, the aim of this is to consume the resources of a particular device. For example, resources of a server or the resources of a firewall or router or whatever. An example is like a SIM flood attack, which I'm sure some of you are aware of. My talk is mainly on the first type of DDoS, which is volume-based DDoS attacks. So the second one is called reflection, and the last one, botnets. So what do I mean by amplification? What attackers do is that they leverage some services that we have on the internet, which you send a small request and get a very large response. So in essence, you have amplified, which I will demonstrate in a couple of slides. Reflection enables the attacker to spoof the IP address of the target, so that when that large response is coming back, instead of the response coming back to the attacker system, it's reflected to the system of the target. Then botnets are a group of compromised devices. So let's. The protocol of choice is UDP. UDP is connectionless. Unlike TCP, that you need to have a 3-way handshake, UDP doesn't require that. And certain services that use UDP are able to be used there's a metric called bandwidth amplification factor. So there are some protocols that use UDP as their transport layer protocol that exhibit very large bandwidth amplification, which is 50x amplification. So that is what DNS amplification is all about. But once you do this, what have you done? You have successfully DDoSed yourself. Because when you send that, it comes back to you. So that takes us to the next ingredient, which is reflection. Reflection is you spoof the source IP address of your target. So when you amplify that DNS query, instead of it coming back to you, it is reflected to the target that you want to bring down. So that's what reflection is all about. And it's done using what you call IP source address spoofing. So the next one is botnet. You would agree with me that most servers now can be able to comfortably sustain attacks of up to, let's say, 10 gigabits or 100 gigabits, because we have a network interface card now that can support up to 100 gigabits. So reflecting a 3,223 bytes attack would actually do nothing to a server. So what do you need? You need a lot of compromised systems that will be able to send such large responses to or such large requests, and that response should be reflected to your target. So let's say the 3,223 bytes I just explained, let's say you have 50,000 compromised computers. So imagine 3,223 bytes by 50,000 of the computers. You have successfully amplified that attack to about 161 gigabits per second. And you agree with me, that would bring down almost any network in the world. So, last year, this botnet made so much headline. It first came into public attention when it was used on Brian Krebs' website. So this mirror, so that IP address has been spoofed, and it will drop the packet. It is a very simple configuration on the Cisco router. It is just a one-liner. On the interface config, would just type IP verify unicast reverse path. That list is optional for what they call multi-homed networks. Sometimes they want to exclude some IP addresses from being dropped. So you have the option of creating an access list. Then finally, there's an IETF working group called DOTS, that is DDoS Open Threat Signaling. They are trying to come up with a standard-based approach for real-time signaling of DDoS. What do I mean by that? They want to create a protocol such that different devices and routers will be able to signal for help when they are being DDoSed. So it's still a work in progress, it's an internet draft. And IETF is open, so anybody can be part of it. If you want to be part of it, you can go to this IP address on ietf.org. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Adetuku Mashonka. This presentation, by the way, is not a technical presentation, so it's a different kind of presentation. It's a satire. We know what satire means? Right, okay. So you'll get to see what I'm talking about in a few minutes, but I'll quickly try and move as quickly as possible because of time. So my name is Adetuku Mashonka. I'm the inject a bit of humor and reality into the cybersecurity discourse. However, I need to do a disclaimer here. This is unlike anything you've seen before, and it doesn't represent the collective position of the association. Okay? The content is based on alleged information, so don't quote me on this. However, I would say that the Cybersecurity Association would always speak and advocate on cybersecurity matters, and that's one of the reasons why we're here today. So without further ado, we jump in. So what is this humongous phenomenon that promises globalization and creates a global village where communication is instantaneous and information is power? The bubble of the 21st century that breaches capitalism, encroaching in all our lives without our prior consent and permission, increasingly becoming the heartbeat of our core existence, the place where you will find the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's the story of the internet. So the internet we know has a dark side, we already know that. The internet can be frustrating sometimes and confusing. And some of you have been in positions where you want to throw your laptop away, or maybe you're denying that your laptop is working, hasn't been compromised. You want to punch a hole in it. Perhaps you want to even cry because of what happened to your laptop or your files last Friday. So we have Google, don't we? A big platform. And basically the picture I'm trying to paint here is we have a huge platform of the internet. Perhaps Google is a subset. Some old people actually call Google for some reason, I don't know why. Then you have people who are the selfie generation. It's all about, look at me, see me, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Then you have these guys. I know somebody was saying, why are we talking about these guys? Well, it's all about branding, isn't it? Then understand also, because basically I'm trying to paint a picture of what we're using the internet platform for. I'm taking you a completely different direction to the previous speakers. We see an individual there who has a facial deformity, but is telling a story. There's a narrative there, there's a message there. And she's a makeup artist, by the way. We also are reminded of our mortality from the images that we see, that we're only human. I know we're talking about cybersecurity. I've broadened the topic, but I think it's necessary because we use the same platform to listen to people who have stories about their lives. Perhaps those lives are coming to an end. We have this image as well of people that are suffering this condition. And this is a stark reality of the people that we are far better off. We also have the movements, which I'm sure some of us remember. Black Lives Matter. And also, our digital lives matter, doesn't it? So, obviously there are different influences on the internet. Some people try to use it for good, some people try to use it for bad. And we have cyberbullying as an example. Then the recent ransomware, which is a direction that is less than desired. Then the shadow brokers, terrorism. That's a recognizable figure there, trying to figure out how technology works. Maybe not. So, essentially, we have in our hands the power to create, shape, and determine our future. There's no question about that. So, let's go a little bit into cybersecurity. The Queen turned 91 this year. She was opening a National Cybersecurity Center in the UK, and she was giving a demonstration. And I guess in the event of a cybersecurity incident, she'll probably know what button to press. I'm just wondering what we will do. I hope we're not just going to be thinking about it. It's just a question. Now, if there's somebody on your property and they're loitering around, they're walking their dog, and they are acting suspiciously, what would you do? Would you invite them into your living room and offer them a drink? or would you ask them to get off your property? Well, the North Koreans might be in our backyard already, playing hide and seek, given the Kaspersky report that North Korea was linked to financial institution attacks of 18 countries, one of which is Nigeria. Now, we don't want to be in the same situation as Mexico. Some of you will say, so what has Mexico got to do with it? Well, if Donald Trump is trying to get Mexico to pay for the wall, we don't want to be in a situation where the North Koreans are trying to get us to pay for a nuclear program. Because think about it, they're trying to build a nuclear program, they need money, right? So we need to up our cybersecurity, there's no question about that. So this is one of the launches, and we need to get this guy under control, one way or the other. Perhaps we need to talk to his uncle, the Chinese president, I don't know. Anyway, so cybersecurity is important, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. But what else is important? What else is a challenge? Physical security. There's no question about that. And we see that from what happened with the Chibok girls, even recently when 82 of them was released, just over a week ago, last year, October, 21 of them. Perhaps some of them are, not perhaps, some of them are still in custody. And there was an outrage, national outrage, and an outrage from the international community to bring back our girls. So, let's just moving on quickly. I hope you're following. Now, this looks like a scene from a sitcom, a matchmaking scene. And the question is, has anybody been involved in matchmaking before? I'm sure this is the question you never expect. I come to a cybersecurity conference, somebody's talking about matchmaking. What has that got to do? Well, we have tried, as in cybersecurity experts have tried, to matchmake the government and the private sector. But this is what has happened. Or this is probably a representation of what is happening. So two people sat around the table and they're not quite talking, or somebody's talking and the other person is not listening. The conversation is not just moving the way it should. Which reminds me of when we had Donald Trump just looking away from Angela Merkel, and she offered to shake his hand. Now, I need to give you a preview to that. Basically, the cybersecurity discourse is important. It's not just about the stuff that is going on. It's like driving the message. The cyber resilience message, the fact that there is cybercrime and there's countermeasures that need to be in place, the fact that people need to be aware, the awareness programs. So it's not about small talk, okay? And that's why this slide is representing kind of like small talk. It's not small talk. It's very disheartening when two parties that are supposed to be talking about important issues are not talking, and they just leave the room. The outcome that you desire doesn't happen. It's very frustrating, really frustrating. And you cannot express that frustration or compress it into 140 characters. It's impossible. But there is hope. You just keep going at it. Yeah, there is hope. One day, you'll get both parties shaking hands and you establish a collaboration platform for things to move in the direction you desire. So, a digital economy and a cashless policy is supposed to work hand in hand, isn't it? But 5 years after the CSEAN announced a cashless policy, are we anywhere being cashless? with all this cash that's been found, let me tell you a quick the comedian Jerry Seinfeld asked President Obama a question. He said, "What kind of sport is politics?" And Obama said, "Well, it's like football, because it keeps changing and you need to position yourself and create openings and be a team player." Now, he's not talking about the same football that we know in this country that is arguably the most popular sport. And I'm not talking about the local, national, or international football. I'm talking about like the sport, the English Premiership, the Italian football, the Spanish football, that is hugely popular. And we have a huge followership and spectatorship. But do you know what else is popular? And does not require I'm trying to remember my trail now. Okay, so do you know what else is popular that does not require physical exertion, but is a sport? Anyone? Corruption. Corruption has become a sport. It's kind of like a sport. And I know it's a touchy subject, but the other thing also is names keep popping up. And we don't just know. And we will also never know what is happening between these two, just like we will never know. But let's move on. When you walk into an office, or you are in a hospital, or maybe you arrive at the airport, you're asked to fill a form, and the form has loads of questions, and your ink runs out, and you look over your shoulder, and everybody's busy filling the form. And some of them are stooped over like a 90-year-old woman, or some of them have their backs arched like a caterpillar, and you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to fill this form. But you look at the form, and they're asking of your name, who you work for, were you fired in your last job? And I'm thinking, fired in my last job? Well, ask the FBI director. That's more appropriate to him. Then you carry on looking at the form, and they ask for your spouse's name, who she works for, and if you have children, they're asking for their names, their date of birth, or they also ask you if you have a condition. And I'm thinking the condition I have right now is I'm getting very impatient. So, but anyway, I fill the form eventually, and the other thing that comes to my mind is this is like a cross-examination in a court of law, all these questions. And if I was a defense attorney, I'll be saying this is a breach, a confidentiality breach. Secondly, that's one of the persons that is managing to fill the form, by the way. And secondly, this is a breach of my client's privacy. And basically what I'm trying to say is that we need a data protection law. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And also that our personal information should be protected from the hands of those that will misuse it. And these are the guys that are ready to misuse that information. Is it not funny that we have all this data and we're drowning in it, but we are starving for wisdom? I believe in this conference we've been able to get some wisdom. It's always the case when you're in adversity that you pray when things are about to happen. But do you know what we already have in abundance? If you're a cybersecurity specialist, you are blessed with lots and lots of vulnerability, aren't you? I mean, is that not what you pray for? That there should be vulnerability and people should exploit it, and so that you have a job? Is that not the irony of what we are here for? So, cybersecurity specialists are in demand because there are loads of vulnerabilities. Are we praying for the vulnerabilities to disappear? Let's be honest. All right, okay, let's move on. If the CEO of a company calls the CISO and asks him this question, are we protected against data leakage? And the answer is no from this guy, then that is the correct answer. Because see what they did to the CIA. Yeah? Now, if you've got kids, you probably buy him or her a teddy bear. You know, these are their mates that they like to play with. Read a story out to them. And even when you grow up into an adult, you still want a teddy bear, don't you? But think about it. What if these teddy bears have secretive devices that is recording your life, your intimate life, stuff about you, and it's constantly recording it? What if that teddy bear evolves into a monster, a monstrous monster, like this? Has anyone heard of Fancy Bear? Okay. Now, the Russian intelligence military, Fancy Bear is a terrorist group that is associated with the Russian intelligence military. Fancy Bear is also known as APT-28. Google it. So you don't want the innocent teddy bear to become something like this. Now, this group were alleged to be the ones that allegedly hacked the DNC emails, which we don't know what how that affected the elections. More recently, what a shame. The French elections. Now, what the hackers did is, in France, they have a 44-hour blackout. That means that 44 hours before the election, there is no reporting, there is no media activity. The hackers hacked Macron's emails, the campaign emails, just before that blackout. That means that nobody can really report anything within that time, and that could have affected the results of the election. Could have. So we just need to be aware of all this. I'm wrapping up now. We have a window of opportunity. This is the important moral of all the story. We have a window of an opportunity, and cybersecurity as an organization is taking that opportunity to be steadfast, to be a catalyst, like a previous speaker said. These are figures that have been influential, that took opportunity of the window. Thank you very much, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Mr.
My name is Samuel Ashinabola. I'm a manager in the technology advisory of KPMG in Nigeria.
Okay. What is your pick on the conference?
Okay, I think the conference has been a very good one. It's been very insightful. When you look at the papers delivered by the different speakers, those papers have actually spoken to the key areas that we need to consider if we're going to build a more resilient cyber space in Nigeria.
So during the conference, you deliver a paper. What is the paper on?
Okay, at the conference, I delivered a paper on the role of board and senior management in cybersecurity. Actually came to stand in for our associate director in KPMG. The paper actually speaks to the fact that there is a need for the leadership of businesses and organizations, for the leadership of governments, parastatals, to do more as it relates to cybersecurity. There is a need for them to take ownership of cyber risk. And I mean, at the conference, I also spoke more about the kind of questions that leaders of organizations should begin to ask.
What would be your word for CSEAN, Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria? What would be your advice?
I think they're doing well in bringing this number of people together from different strata. I think they're doing very well. I would say that they should continue in what they're doing. Apart from that, I think there is also a need to ensure that we continue to engage government agencies that have specific roles to play in building a more resilient cyberspace in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for your time.